Hello everyone and welcome to Play by Play, or PXP for short. I'm your host, Jamie Yarrow, and this 2-minute drill challenges you to be proactive versus reactive. You ready to get started? Here we go. Well, welcome back everyone. Today I want to talk to you about the idea of being proactive. About being proactive rather than reactive. Well, what does that even mean to be proactive? You know, as I was thinking about this topic, I thought, I better make sure I know the proper definition of proactive if I'm going to talk about it. I mean, we all use that word all the time, right? But if I was really pressed for a definition, I would probably say something like taking action in advance or in advance of something. So, but to be sure, I called up my old friend Merriam-Webster and asked, what exactly does proactive mean? And to my surprise, the part of the definition that I would have never thought of is probably the most important thing that we need to take away from this conversation. The definition says, acting in anticipation of problems, needs, or changes. Acting in anticipation, boy, that was a mouthful. Acting in anticipation of problems, needs, or changes. And I was like, what? Acting in anticipation of problems, needs, or changes, that's 100% right. I mean, if you're going to be a great leader or really if you're just going to be, really great at what you do, it requires that you anticipate what is to come. When you're being proactive, you plan for contingencies, you plan for roadblocks, or you plan for, challenges that are in your future. And you're so much better prepared to handle them when they come if you've planned for them in advance. I mean, think about it. If I'm launching a new service and I proactively think about the potential customer concerns or issues or development that might come up, maybe even if I get an early adopter to test out the product, an early adopter group, something like that to test the product, and then I pre-develop talk paths or solutions to those problems that are encountered or that we anticipate, how much better prepared am I going to be when the real customer has one of those issues? And how much more impressed will that customer be when I act like I already know what I'm doing, even if it's a brand new launch? The same thing goes for communication, whether that's conversations with employers or colleagues or direct reports. Be proactive. If you sense that there might be an issue, take action in advance of something happening, right? In anticipation of something happening. How many conflicts occur in the workplace because we're not proactive in dealing with, these little minor miscommunications or differences of opinions, or maybe something just didn't meet expectations and it's real small. And it gets overlooked or it gets left and we're not proactive in dealing with it. But before you know it, these things have turned into full-blown issues that require much more intervention in order to resolve them. You know what I'm talking about, right? I mean, we've all been there. We've all allowed something to fester or something to slide, and we've just, brushed it under the rug. Maybe that's been us that's done it, or someone's done it to us. But before you know it, that thing blows up, right? It turns into this huge ordeal that requires much more problem solving to take care of. As I'm coaching young leaders, one of the top skills that I work with them to develop is communication. And a big part of that communication boils down to being proactive. Now, today we're talking about being proactive versus reactive. And I suppose it should go without saying that reactive is simply the opposite of proactive. And I'm racking my brain to think about it, but there probably are some times when taking a reactive approach, it might be the right move, but for the life of me, I can't think of one right now. Maybe there's one out there, but being proactive is certainly going to be the best choice of action in the vast majority of cases. I mean, being reactive, it almost puts you in a position where you have to punt. You know what I mean? I mean, you're behind the curve, behind the 8 ball, so to speak. You have to rush to get a solution. You probably don't have time to collaborate with others, or you don't think about it, or just being reactive, you're probably not a collaborator. And the service that results is certainly not the best that it could be if you had proactively thought of issues and solutions on the forefront. And if it's a conflict that you're being reactive about, by the time you actually do react, it's probably festered into something that, heck, it may not even be able to be fixed at that point. Look, I recommend addressing issues within 24 hours. Communication, conflict, those type of issues, I think they should be addressed, at least brought up and put on the table within 24 hours. It may take longer to resolve them, but you got to get it to the forefront. 24 hours is my rule. Be proactive and get the issue on the table. You can be proactive, or you can be reactive and then deal with the mess that happens afterwards. Look, the bottom line is this. No matter what your profession is, or no matter what your position in the company or the organization is, or no matter whether you're the one calling the shots, you can be proactive in your space, in your area. And when you do that, you're going to earn the reputation of being professional, of being responsive, of being thorough, of being a team player, of being someone that looks out for the best interest of the client and the company. Being proactive means that you're going to have a greater impact to control the outcome. On the other end of the spectrum, being reactive means you're just waiting to see what happens. Which would you rather do? Have the ability to help control the outcome, or just watch and see what happens? I know what I'd rather do. Well, that's all the time I got for today. Thanks for listening to Play by Play. If you enjoyed the podcast, please share it with your inner circle. Chances are that they're going to like it too. But most of all, I hope that something that was said today helps you to become a better version of yourself. I'm your host, Jamie Yarrow, and I hope you have an amazing day.